This celebration is to reflower the tree of life, hidden since the foundation of the world, which returns at the end of time in the Apocalypse, a cataclysm which has always had the hidden meaning of bridal unveiling. The return of the lost feminine face in all her manifold forms, Asherah, Gaia, Shulamite, Magdalene, Shekinah, to bless the earth in natural abundance and matrimonial concord. The true unveiling in cosmic and evolutionary time is now, in the awakening of humanity to the inner workings of the universe, from the Big Bang to the quantum, in the genetic code even to the doors of perception. On the sinister side, we have committed genocide and embraced nuclear holocaust. We are heedlessly destroying our genetic garment through the inferno of life's diversity and ill-conceived genetic modification. Even as I speak, we are hurtling towards a mass extinction, which could cause 10 million years of genetic famine if we don't destroy ourselves in the process. This seed celebration opens the epoch of the life tree in reunion between woman and man, humanity and nature, divinity and wisdom, right in the eye of the millennium when all eyes were gazing on oblivion. Know ye this, that if the goodman of the house had known the hour the thief would come, he would have watched. Be ye therefore also ready, for the Son of Man cometh at an hour when ye think not. Hello everyone, I've suddenly realised that what Nikki's doing is really valuable, which is actually documenting a bit of this mad process. And some credit to you, Sarah, and to everyone here for this entirely crazy evening.
We're talking now about transportation.
Yeah.
And putting up signs,
Yeah.
so that it's clear for everyone that everything's changed from there to there.
Have you been in any contact with Elia, or was something arranged about the public transport?
11 o'clock. It's meeting.
Beautiful, huh?
Very beautiful, except...
רחם על ציון כי היא בית חיינו רחם על ציון כי היא בית חיינו רחם על ציון כי היא בית חיינו חיינו
focused on the cleavages that are between us and the friction and the fractures in this earth and the divisions that we have between us as people and as individuals inside ourselves and among ourselves. The fractures that are in the earth, when you look at the desert and you see the deep, deep, deep cracks and cleavages, and the earth is crying to be fed with water. She's thirsty, and you're neglecting her. And I often find myself thinking about her needs and about our strength as one, our ability to feed her with water and to plant our visions for peace and unity and greater understandings among Jews and Christians and Muslims, and those of us who are not religious, and those of us who are pagans, and those of us who don't associate at all with any labels whatsoever. Let's try to feed the earth together tonight. Anybody who has any dreams or visions about a ritual that you'd like to share with us as a group, please come and speak to me at some point during this evening, and we'll weave it together, as Chris was saying earlier. We'll weave it into tonight's program. Okay, many blessings.
This is my hymn to the future of Zion,
crown of your fortune, the seal of your strife. Your tenure on earth comes from loving your neighbor as flesh of your flesh and the love of your life. This is the love song of Sheba and Solomon. This is the life hymn of heaven and earth. This is the marriage of kingdom and garden throughout our generations.
here tonight will spread peace in our hearts and peace on the city of peace below, Yerushalayim. And Bezrat Hashem, Insha'Allah, will be a light and source for peace in the whole world and the whole universe. Put down.
Did you write it?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Oh, pleasure.
How do you call it?
What's the name of the song?
The hymn to the epoch.
To the epoch.
Yeah.
But especially for Zion, right?
Yeah. And for Palestine.
And Palestine, right.
And for the generations forever.
The true hymn.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's a great honor to sing it in Jerusalem. cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it. The Spirit of God is upon us,
The spirit of Gaia is within us,
because they
hath anointed us to sing good tidings unto the meek.
They hath sent us to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, in Palestine, in Sidon, in Syria, Arabia, and the world, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garments of love for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of compassion, the planting of the divine, that all might be glorified in the abundance of wisdom. And we shall renew the old wastes, and we shall restore the former desolations, and we shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. They hath clothed us with the garments of salvation, and I as a bridegroom decketh myself with ornaments, and I as a bride adorneth myself with jewels. For as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causeth the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so shall harmony and fulfillment spring forth among all the generations. This day is this scripture fulfilled in your ears.
Okay, now.
Now the idea is to pass it out to you so that we can all say it, so that we're all Mashiach, we're all Madonna.
I happen to have here in my pocket.
Our Mount of Olives vigil was a seed spark for the entire millennial cycle. Just as ours completed, in Chatham Islands of New Zealand, on the other side of the earth, the first of the millennial fires were being lit. There's a beauty in the way the millennial celebrations were the world's first global birthday party. This is our cosmic coming of age. But the froth and bubble missed the essential opportunity. The forests are still burning. Nuclear weapons are still abundant. The tree of life is still in acute danger. This was our chance to awaken and to begin the reflowering for our future generations. Good for the Palestinians. Assalamu alaikum. Victory for Palestine. Love between Israel and Palestine. Reconciliation. And to love all of you. We're sitting with reporters on the night of the 31st, and the reporters are all waiting here to see if anything's going to happen about Jesus' return from the sky, with a measured degree of skepticism. And they're also waiting, looking at the city scintillating below me here, filming the anticipation that somehow the heavenly city of Jerusalem will emerge from uniting sky and earth. And who do you work for?
I work for the Associated Press.
Yeah, look at this.
Cristo viene.
On Millennium Night, we decided to consult with wine bibbers at an insane Jerusalem disco. They wanted me to ride in at midnight as the false messiah on an ass. My taboo Kabbalistic rabbi companion, Lazarus, stood in, but had to console the ass, which was petrified. This wasn't a case of Balaam's ass and its wisdom, it was more a case of animal abuse. We were invited to play as the Messiah's troupe, but all they could stand was canned music. We have not piped for you, yet ye have danced. This wasn't fertile ground for the hymn to the epoch, so after a curtain call, we ran for cover. Jerusalem was stunningly quiet on Millennium Night. It's a comment on the Jewish attitude towards Jesus. However, Bethlehem was raging. There were 2,000 doves of peace released at midnight in the middle of fireworks and explosions. Those that didn't smash against the walls of buildings were promptly grabbed by members of the crowd, shaken up and down, and feathered for the feast. I'll do it. That's nuclear, man. Here is Jerusalem, and you should know why you came here. Above Jerusalem in heaven there grows a tree, and out of the roots of the tree flow 3 rivers, Judaism, Christianity and Islam. Grand Mufti Jabari of Al-Aqsa Mosque. There were 4 rivers flowed out of Eden from the tree of life. The 4th is the darkened, occluded river of the Shulamite queen.
think you look like Jesus, because I think from your heart, it's looking from the face of the people. It's not mean the person he is a Christian by the face. He is a Christian by the heart. Because the person, if he want to say he is a believer, he must believe in his heart, not in his face. Everybody he look a face like any somebody he's a sand or something, but he must be in the heart.
Thank you. They're on taboo ground.
But it
They're dancing close to the city cake.
No, but I thought it was because
Alright,
the soul
let's
is
do it this
searching.
way, man. Let's do it this way. People from 3 religions chilling.
Ah, yes.
Like there is no tomorrow, man.
Now-
We're gonna do it till the end of
There you
time.
go. We have the
We're gonna do it
Sufi,
till the end
the
of time.
Kabbalist, and the Gnostic. Yeah.
We're here. We're here.
Manifesting
We're
together.
not- are we going anywhere?
Yeah, you know about Al-Jabari? Did I say that about over the city of Jerusalem grows the tree of life? And I did say it to you today.
Yeah,
Now here
yeah.
we are. So,
That sucked, but it's okay.
that poor old woman.
Shalom.
The manifestation date of the Epiphany happens to be my birthday. Heavily escorted by police, we marched from the ascension site on the Mount of Olives to the City of Peace, pronouncing the renewal.
For I am the first and the last. I am the honored one and the scorned one. I am the whore and the holy one. I am the wife and the virgin. I am the mother and the daughter. I am the barren one, and many are my sons. I am she whose wedding is great, and I have not taken a husband. I am knowledge and ignorance. I am shameless. I am ashamed. I am strength, and I am fear. I am senseless, and I am wise. I am the silence that is incomprehensible, and the idea whose remembrance is frequent. I am the one whom they call life, and you have called death. I am the one you have pursued. I am the one you have seized. I am the one you have scattered, and you have gathered me together.
Look upon us, you who reflect upon us, for we are Alpha and Omega, the divine and the blasphemer, Baal-Zebul and the Holy Ghost. For I am the Son of Man, the father of my mother, and it is my wife who begot me. I am the bridegroom whose wedding is celebrated, and I have not taken a wife. I am the Word made flesh, and yet the bread of life. I am the good shepherd, and yet the paschal lamb. I am the true vine, and yet the sprouting rod. I am the fisher of men, and yet the eye of the storm.
We are all the lightning, uniting heaven and earth in rains of plenty.
We are the light of the world and the darkness at noontide.
We are the ones who return to loosen the bands and open the prison to them that are bound.
In our very blood flows the fruit of the tree of life, and in our flesh the healing of the nations. The collective process, the collective Messiah is a kind of awakening process that everyone realizes with great relief that there is a cosmological meaning to humanity and a sense of purpose in life. And so everybody shares in the Gnostic opening as the seed spring forth. So it's not something exclusive and it's not something pretentious. Itzhak says we have the dozen. We have 12 people. It's a very special thing to have it. Split a piece of wood and I am there. Lift up the stone and you will find me there. I am not your master. Because you have drunk, you have become intoxicated from the bubbling stream which I have measured out.
Tell us of the tree.
The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed. It is the smallest of all seeds. But when it falls on tilled soil, it produces a great plant and becomes a shelter for the birds of the sky, wherein they can build the nests for the young.
If we are the tree and you are the gardener, what is the seed?
The seed is love. Let us love one another.
When will the kingdom come?
The kingdom lies before you, but men do not see it. If those who lead you say to you, see, the kingdom is in the sky, then the birds of the sky will precede you. If they say to you, it is in the sea, then the fishes will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside you and outside you. When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known, and you will realize it is you who are the sons of the living Father.
This is the resurrection of Magdalene. I have sailed in desire and flowed in passion in the ark, the arms of love. So rare, like dawn on the day you climb once in your life the highest mountain, is my soul's spouse.
And I have witnessed when, professing to love him, you have, in your fear of the awakening, transported him, body and soul, to a bloodless heaven, rejecting the throbbing in your own sacred heart, seeking desire without the responsibility of perfect fulfillment.
I have come here to remind you, you are him and I am she, and we the ark of the world. We must not transport to the void, but sweetly planting earth, our love so rare.
We cannot escape, through worship, our conscious destiny, our meeting and our embracing.
For the renewal of all life lies in this sacred realm, not without, and that rare stranger in the garden, the immortal beloved, is also yourself.
The Magdalene Church, the Garden of Gethsemane, the Messiah's golden gates of compassion or mercy. Jesus was betrayed at Gethsemane, and it's kind of like a metaphor of death. And yet it's the garden. And there have been olive trees growing there for 2,000 years, so it's some of the oldest olives known. And it'll be very nice if it was celebrated as a garden of life rather than a garden celebrating death. So I'm just saying this now as a sort of part of the process of healing the past about this trip, because Judaism has suffered a great deal from this death that Jesus had. And so have the witches of Europe and many other people. So it's an important thing to cleanse the death that Gethsemane represents and replace it with a paradigm of life.
Shekhinah, Olat Tamid, you are the eternal fire we kindle anew each morning upon the altar in our home. Shekhinah, hearth fire of creation, earth and heart, flame bursting forth, exploding like the dawn. Shekhinah, Hai Olamim, eternal vitality, only appears dead. Possum woman rolls over and then gets up. She throws her head back laughing, because she revives from instant to instant. Shekhinah, Makor Hayim, digging wells, drawing water from the depths, spawning myriads in her mud, frog eggs on a slimy string. Shekhinah, Makom, place of the world. Her sovereignty is the seal of creation.
All our arts together, and by the unification of all our arts, we can put the imprints of reunification for the place, and my intention for coming together. So let's keep it.
Absalom's pillar. Absalom's pillar stands in the Vale of Kidron below the city walls, where the Asherah was burned in the rape of the sanctuaries. Hezekiah removed the high places and brake the images and cut down the grove Asherah. Josiah cut down the grove, and he burned the bones of the priests upon their altars without Jerusalem in the fields of Kidron. We are taking a detour to Hezekiah's tunnel to renew the waters of life.
There's a legend that King David wrote 13 songs of ascent. Underneath the Temple Mount, there's water flowing. There's a free spring that feeds the Gihon, the Kidron Valley. So just recently the water started rising and nobody could account for it. It rose to a certain point. The chief priest, the chief of the Mufti of the Arabs, packed his bags, and left for Jordan.
There's even a story about the waters rising and some messianic prophecy. We're going to go now into the tunnel. I'm probably going to get wet to the knees, and I have a friend here I've just met with candles.
Let's see. Oh, it's quite a big.
It's quite big.
So we are entering the Gihon Spring. I have a friend from New Zealand. Come with me. When the kingdom comes, there will be a time, an age, according to the Word of God, when the Messiah will rule from Jerusalem, from this place. But it didn't start.
The Messiah never returns from the sky in the way that people predicted, because the refertilizing of the tradition of the living God always comes in incarnate form again and again from the source. So God incarnates to teach the world the redemption of the cosmos. And every time in human form, we are the sons of God. We are the eternal gypsy spirits of the universe, reincarnating on the salvation mission. And you too, and Jesus too taught that Thomas Didymus was indeed his twin, and that every reader of the Gospel of Thomas was the twin of Jesus, and likewise the sons and daughters of God. I'm coming here to save planet Earth from the apocalypse of nuclear weapons, of the destruction of the garden, because God created Earth in evolutionary time so that the flowering of the garden and the kingdom together would occur. The will of the creative force of the universe is to flower throughout evolutionary time. And in the final becoming of the universe, we will all know and understand, and know also as we are known. And when we become disincarnate again in death, we also know as we are known, and reunite with the mind of God in the disincarnate bardo. The Asherah was the tree of life, thrown out of the temple by Hezekiah. I'm coming here now to traverse the waters in blessing, the feminine waters that flow from under the tree of life as the source of the roots of new fertility. I'm baptizing myself in the waters of Hezekiah to heal the throwing of the Asherah. We're coming to the end now. You see the opening. Now we come to the pool of Shiloah.
Okay, here we are. A little bit wet.
Both of us. We need someone to take both of our photographs here. Comrades in the path. We're going to give another reading, and these are the readings. This is a reading from Isaiah 60, which throws all the gates wide open. Okay, so there are no closed gates.
The mercy gate is now closed.
The mercy gate's closed. Reputedly, there's a myth. It's in the A Lonely Planet Guide to Jerusalem that the Islamic people have cemented the gate shut for a fear that the Messiah might return and disrupt the status quo. The Dome of the Rock is a beautiful representation. Yitzhak mentioned from Sufi masons who have represented the inside in the arboreal forms of the Garden of Eden or of Paradise. So it's a representation of Paradise. And indeed the temple precincts contain a grove of trees and olives, and so there's a sense in which the garden is within, but it is the Asherah imprisoned within the walls, and the gates are not open in terms of spiritual freedom and freedom of worship. Now there's this very potent reading in Isaiah 60. Should we do it together? Okay. And foreigners will build up your walls, and their kings will minister to you. For in my wrath I struck you, and in my favor I have had compassion on you. And your gates will be open continually, and they will not be closed day or night. The glory of Lebanon will come to you, the juniper, the box tree, and the cypress together. Now there's a very powerful metaphor here, which is the planting among the countries of permanence and reconciliation, that the cedars of Lebanon will come to the Temple Mount.
Around Garden of Gethsemane. And this is the church, the Russian church of Maria Magdalene. And there is the Jewish cemetery where all the souls are supposed to rise from dead when the Mashiach comes and opens the gates of compassion.
I knew the police would try to keep us from the Messiah's gates, so we are now making a short detour as a thief in the night to knock 3 times for their opening. We are coming to knock on the mercy gates. I am coming as a thief in the night. We call on Islam to open its garden, to free the Asherah, to open the gates of mercy once and for all people, for all beliefs, for all the visions of humanity to weave together, to open the epoch of the tree of life.
The quality of mercy is not strained. It falleth as the gentle rain from heaven. The quality of mercy is not strained. It's not restrained. It's not in any way put through a sieve. It's whole and complete and falls with its essence entire.
Okay, this is a piece of bread. This is the bread of life, if you like. Now I'm sitting at the portico. There is no exact portico here. There's a small iron wicket fence with some lovely gravestones inside. I'm not intruding here, I'm inviting. I'm not transgressing, I'm offering. The way of healing for Islam and for the whole world lies in reconciliation. Kyle, it says the prince will eat bread in the portico of the gate and come in and go out, pass through by the gate. This passing through is a release of humanity from bondage and liberation. He shall enter by way of the porch of the gate of the outward sanctuary which looketh toward the east, and shall go out by way of the same. While I'm sitting here in the garden that lies inside the old temple precincts, in the background of the gates of mercy, and you can see I'm surrounded by trees, and in a minute I'll turn the camera to the garden, and again I call from inside the gates of mercy a 3rd time, that the gates be opened in the name of the unity of all paths and the reunion of all peoples. When Jesus turned the tables in the temple, there were money changers because the high priest didn't want Roman coins in the Holy of Holies. Today all Muslims can pass freely into the Dome of the Rock as a religious shrine, but all others have to pay the tourist price. This is the same thing happening again. There was supposed to be no photography allowed inside the dome, but the Lonely Planet film on Jerusalem held an interview there. So for the right consideration, anything is possible. We are here turning the tables by flying in on eagle's wings as Shekinah through the women's entrance, just to witness the Garden of Eden within. To the sorrow of Islam, women are stoned, burned and shrouded to this very day. According to al-Sadawi, Muhammad ordered Sarah, the slave singer, to be executed on the day of his victorious entry into Mecca. Other singers in opposition had their tongues cut out. Muhammad didn't enter the gates of Mecca through jihad, but through heeding the spirit of tranquility, sakin. So too can Islam enter the gates of paradise.
One sentence in Arabic on this plate. The idea is that these 2 tablets, we call them tablet for the Shekhinah and a tablet for the tree of life. לוח לשכינה ולוח לעץ החיים. May I just comment? Along this route, generally people walk with the crosses, which we see as a tree of death. And now we are coming on the same route, carrying the tree of life.
This is the monastery of Sisters of Zion, and underneath there is a deep cistern, water cisterns, and underneath corridors up to the temple wall.
It's very, very special. It's a great honor.
Set me as a seal upon thine heart, as a seal upon thine arm. For love is as strong as death, jealousy as cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are coals of fire, which hath a most vehement flame. Many waters cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it. שלא יעלו דרך הרוב יותר קרוב. הם הולכים, משליכים עכשיו סגורים.